Hello, 7th grade. You guys are ready for English, I hope. We're doing pages 30 and 31. A little bit more on the Swiss Family Robinson. You guys have been reading and have been finding some interesting things out of that book, I'm hoping. Today we're just talking about the different kinds of paragraphs that we write. You guys have studied this before, but it's been a little while about the different kinds of paragraphs. There's an expository paragraph. There's a descriptive paragraph. There's a narrative paragraph. And there's a persuasive paragraph. And there are different things about each one of these paragraphs that we need to know because you're going to be writing some paragraphs today. This expository paragraph explains an idea, gives information, and tells how to do or make something. So let's say you wanted to make a paper airplane and you want to tell, Abigail wants to tell Casey how to make a paper airplane. This is the kind of paragraph you would need to write. It's a very, I want to say descriptive, but it's a descriptive way of writing and saying how to fold this way, how to fold it this way. You're giving information and you're explaining something. That's the kind of paragraph that you would want to write if you are telling somebody how to do something. If you want to teach them how to build a bench or how to make soap or something like that. You would use an expository paragraph describing that. A descriptive paragraph gives sensory details to describe people, places, experiences, or feelings. So maybe you went camping and Seth wants to say how the campground looked, how it felt, how it smelled, how the water smelled, how the fish were jumping out of the lake, how the boat ride was, how hard your hammock was that you slept in. But it gives sensory details. Sensory, remember, is talking about your senses, how something tastes, how something smelled, what you heard, what you seen. Those are all sensory details. You would use a descriptive paragraph to tell somebody how your camping spot looked. A narrative paragraph tells a story and may be developed through examples, facts, or sensory details. Narrative is maybe you had a dream and you want to tell somebody about that dream, but you want to give details on what you've seen in your dream, or maybe you want to tell a story of how just something that happened to you. But a narrative paragraph tells a story. And a persuasive paragraph, you're going to try to persuade somebody to think like you do, and you're going to give facts and reasons why you think somebody needs to drink Coke or somebody needs to use Dial soap. Why you would think that everybody in this classroom needs to use Dial soap. It smells so good, it cleans so good, it takes germs away, it just all kinds of reasons and facts. You would need to want to search it out. Why do you believe the way you do? Why do you think the way you do? Explaining that. That's a persuasive paragraph. Persuading somebody to think like you do. All right, so on this page, there are 4 paragraphs taken out of the Swiss Family Robinson. There's 4 paragraphs taken out of your book. Indicate whether each is expository, descriptive, narrative, or persuasive, and give at least one reason why. We will do the first one, and then you guys can read the paragraphs, but I'll give you an example of what they mean about for the blanks. All right, number 1 says, if you want a more shapely vessel, you must take it in hand when it is younger. To give it a neck, for instance, you must tie a bandage round the young gourd while it is still on the tree, and then all will swell, but that part which you have checked. All right, so I see some descriptive ways on how to make something. To give it a neck, for instance, you must tie a bandage around the young gourd. They're telling you what to do with the gourd. Do you remember which paragraph tells you how to do something? Remember? Making a paper airplane? Expository. The above paragraph is expository because it tells how to make something. It gives you details on how to make something. That can be your because. All right, we'll do number 2 yet. Jack was away and up to his knees in the water in a moment, detaching the oysters. Ernest followed more leisurely and, still unwilling to wet his feet, stood by the margin of the pool and gathered in his handkerchief the oysters his brother threw him. As he thus stood, he picked up and pocketed a large mussel shell for his own use. As they returned with a good supply, we heard a shout from Fritz in the distance. We returned it joyfully, and he presently appeared before us, his hands behind his back, and a look of disappointment upon his countenance. So I see a paragraph here where somebody is telling a story about what happened to Jack and Ernest, and about not getting wet, and what all they did and what all happened. The above paragraph is, which one of these tells a story? Narrative. It tells a story. The above paragraph is narrative because it tells a story. That can be your because. All right, the other 2 paragraphs are either going to be descriptive or persuasive. Turn your page to page 31. Here you have to write 4 paragraphs. And 1 is an expository, descriptive, narrative, and persuasive. It says write the rough draft and final copy. I don't make you do that. Just write it 1 time. Make so that it's neat and so that I can read it to score. And the first one says an expository paragraph giving information about a kangaroo. Remember to use facts and examples. And it says refer to chapter 11. So what you need to do is look on the chart in the front. What pages are chapter 11? And then go back to those pages, and there should be some information in there somewhere about a kangaroo. And they want an expository paragraph. So you're going to be giving, in your paragraph, you need to be giving details. Giving information and telling how to do or make something. Just explaining an idea, giving information. So obviously they gave you some information about a kangaroo. Just needs to be 1 paragraph, 5 sentences or so about the kangaroo. Number 2 is a descriptive paragraph of the family's first campsite. Remember to use sensory details. Refer to chapter 2. Again, go back to your pages where chapter 2 is. They obviously talked about the family's campsite. If you read it, what did it look like? Did it smell like something? Did they hear something? Sensory details, that's what that is. So you're going to be describing their campsite. Again, just about 5 sentences or so. Number 3 is a narrative paragraph telling what the mother and boys did on day 3. Narrative is telling a story. So tell the story about what they did on day 3. They're not telling us here, so you are going to have to go back and find that. It's in chapter 6. So go back on whatever pages are chapter 6 and find out what the mom and the boys did. Maybe it just all comes back to your mind. You don't even have to look back. And number 4 is a persuasive paragraph giving your opinion as to why the family needed to move to a new location. Refer to chapter 6. And use facts or reasons. Why do you think that they needed to move? All right, so you'll have 4 paragraphs to write, and that will be the end of your assignments for today. Hopefully that won't take you terrible long to do, but hope everything goes well. If you have questions, please ask. Thank you.